Bonjour, diecast fans. So we have a Norev model here. It's a Citroen 15.6 from 1939. So that's an old car. I do kind of like this packaging. You know, you can see this side, the top, and a little bit of the other side. Unfortunately, you can't see the front and the back. So that's too bad. Alright, let's get this guy open and see what's going on. So this is better known as the Citroen Traction Avant, which in French means front traction. But there are many different models of the Traction Avants. But the 15.6, the 6 meant it had an inline 6-cylinder, and all of them were front-wheel drive. You gotta remember, this is like back in the 1930s, so front-wheel drive wasn't very popular, and also this thing had a monocoque body, a unibody. Whereas cars of the day usually had a body on a frame, which made them a lot heavier. So this car was very light, and because the body wasn't placed on top of a frame, it's a pretty low-slung vehicle compared to some other cars of the day. Okay. Alrighty, let's try the back view. So interestingly, the drivetrain, because it's such a long car, the engine is placed behind the front axle, and then the gearbox is actually placed in front of the engine, and then the differential, I guess, is between the two. So I didn't actually look up pictures of the mechanicals, but that's just what Wikipedia is telling me. Alright. And then the gear shifter was actually on the dashboard, so it freed up a lot of space, you know, on the inside. And then this has independent suspension, which is also pretty good for the day, the 30s. And then it has rack and pinion steering, which I guess wasn't very common back then either. Alright, so the monocoque, again, I have to mention this because besides saving weight and better fuel consumption, at the time, people were suspicious if a unibody vehicle was strong enough. People were just used to having bodies on frames like, you know, pickup trucks are today. And so they basically took one of these cars and drove it off of a cliff. So they drove it off the side of a cliff to help people realize that the thing is actually pretty structurally sound because it's a, you know, it's basically a steel box, right? So I thought that was interesting. And then black was the only color available on this thing until 1953. The Citroen Traction Avant series ran between 1938 and 1956. So it's a long running. And then they had coupes, they had convertibles, they had 2 doors, they had 4 doors. There was even a station wagon version. And so over 760,000 of them were made, I guess. Alright, so that's enough about what I learned that hopefully may or may not be correct based on the internet. So you'll see here, this is like a cement gray. It's not metallic or anything like that. Oh, you know what? The scale. Let's talk about that. Because I don't think Norev ever claims to be 164, but let's see if we get lucky. The wheelbase on this 15.6 is supposed to be 3090 millimeters. So 3090 millimeters divided by 54.5. No, it is a 157 scale, so quite large. Ah, that's too bad. I was hoping it'd be 164, but I just don't know of a model this small of this car, so if anyone knows of one, this 164 scale that's nicer than this, please let me know. I might consider getting it. Alright, so with the scale out of the way, let's get into the casting. We got some door handles here, and it's interesting, look at the hinging. I have a suspicion the front are suicide doors, unless they're hidden, and then maybe the rears just swing out in the conventional sense. I don't know. If anyone knows, please leave a comment. These are a bunch of louvers. I don't know if there should be black paint. I guess it would be body colored, so maybe not. And then there's a handle, but I don't think there's... There's no paint on the handle here. It's only on the handles there. And there's a little chrome strip on the doors as well. I'm not sure why the wheels are red, but, well, they are. Okay. Going to the front, it's nice to see the plastic headlights. So that's good. Much better than paint. Oh, that's nice. It says 15.6 there. This grille, I can feel a texture. Yeah, it's not very prominent, but it's slightly there. I can feel it. And it's painted nicely. Alright, so the bumper is a separate piece of plastic, it looks like. And I guess it's alright, because look, from the top view, there's actually air passing between, so that's very thinly molded. Alright, maybe these are turn signals? Yeah, on the photographs it looks like these would be turn signals, but there's no orange paint. But they are clear on the photograph, so I guess that's okay. On this side of the car, don't really see anything different than the other side, other than a couple of contaminants there in the paint. Alright, let's see about the back here. So this is where the license plate's supposed to be mounted. Would have been nice to have like something printed there. It's interesting, it seems to be a piece of black plastic. Alright. This looks like a separate piece as well. It's a spare tire cover. Some contaminant there. Again, pretty nicely molded rear bumper. So that's good. Now, what are these? Oh, okay. So these are supposed to be handles that twist to open up the trunk, I guess. But they're not painted silver. And I think this is supposed to be a tail light, but it's not painted red. Casting problem there. Extra metal there. Alright, what about the side? Well, there's glass in all windows, so it looks like it's... I think it's a black interior. Let me get the flashlight. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Well, it's got ribbing on the seats. So there's actually 3 rows of seats, it looks like. Maybe this is a limousine version? I don't know. Steering wheel there. I see some buttons. I don't see any indication of some sort of shifter, though, on the dashboard. Okay. Well, I guess it's alright. You know, Norev's models aren't very expensive, so... Alright, what's going on the bottom here? It's a plastic base, it looks like, and it's press fit together in 2 spots. Oh, there's an exhaust tip here coming off. Sticking out quite a bit. So that's nice. It's very flat, though. And then, let's see how these bumpers are mounted. I think the bumpers are actually part of this base, but then they're just painted silver. Yeah, so that works. The tires do have some tread, and I think the tire width is actually appropriate to this era of vehicle. It looks similar to the photographs, so I think that's good. It's nice to see... Oh, look at this. It says 1/58 scale, so... Alright, that's nice to know about Norev. And then it's nice to know we know exactly what the car is. Alright, it would have been nice to maybe say the year, the span of the years. Okay, it looks like there's black paint. Is this black paint? Is this a separate plastic piece? Oh, okay, I'm getting it now. This whole front fender is part of the base, but they just painted it, you know, gray to match. So that's an interesting way to make it. And that's what allows this fender to be so thin. You know, I think if it was cast metal, I'm not sure if they could have gotten the tire sunken in there or not. Well, maybe they could have, because this is clearly cast metal as well. But it just looks like the... See how this tapers so thin? Whereas this doesn't taper very thin, you know, because it's metal. So I think they made the right choice. Yeah, I think Norevs are meant to be played with, so it does roll. The tires also have nice curvature to the sidewall. They look like, you know, old classic tires bulging out like that. Alright, well, I gotta say, it's pretty nice. I like it. You know, there's definitely some quality control problems, but again, it's not a very expensive model, so it doesn't bother me. And then, you know, the lacking of the paint, I guess, is a bit of an issue, but because everything is protruding, it'll be really easy for anyone to just take a silver Sharpie or a red marker and paint some extra details on it. Must be a vent for the interior. No. Oh, look, there's also wiper blades, and they are on the top. So that's an interesting thing about this car. I also see now this silver going around this windshield. So they got some silver trim there for that molding. And the side windows don't seem to have silver, or the back window also. Only the front windshield has a chrome molding. I wonder if it can be replaced easily, or even if it comes down. I'm not sure. Well, alright, let's pull out a couple of other classic cars. I don't have many pre-war vehicles. I would like to get more, but I guess it just doesn't grab the interest of most collectors. Or what do you guys think? Do you guys collect pre-war era vehicles? I like the styling, you know, the swoopiness, the separate fenders and stuff. Alright, two of them to come up are by Racing Champions. This is a 1931 Cadillac V16. So that is probably a body-on-frame design. And so you can see, granted it's not the same scale, so actually I can't really say that, but proportionally within this model alone, it's very high up. And it has running sideboards because that allows it to let the people get into the vehicle easier to have a sidestep. But with the Citroen, you know, the thing is so low to the ground that you can just step right into the vehicle, you know. Whereas the body on frame, they added sideboards to help reduce the height to step inwards. Alright, this next racing champion is from 1935. It's a Duesenberg SSJ Speedster. Very nice looking car. I like it. Oh, these racing champions, I 3D printed my own wheels. The ones that came on them weren't really... The tires just didn't look right to me. I have video reviews of these cars elsewhere if you want to search the channel. Alright, so let's take these big guys off here. And here's another pre-war. It's a 1929 Bentley Speed 6, I think it was called. No, it's a Bentley 6.5 liter. So this Bentley actually went racing, I guess. And then I guess the post-war era, an Alfa Romeo Gran Premio Tipo 159 Alfetta, and this one is made by Kyosho. The Bentley is made by La Festa or Yao Modellini. That's how you could search for it on eBay, although they don't come up very often, just to let you know. If they do come up often, I suggest you just buy it, because not many people seem to sell them. Alright, so... So unfortunately, you know, the scale is quite a bit off, but I do still think it's a pretty nice model, considering, you know, it wasn't very expensive at all, and it's just a random vehicle that I never bothered to look into before. And gotta give credit to Citroen, they were pretty advanced for their day, you know. There are a lot of modern things in this vehicle, but this thing was designed back in the 1930s, so that's very impressive. It's almost a 100-year-old design. Alright, well, if you guys know of any 1/64 scale pre-war vehicles, please leave a comment. You know, I'd like to research them. Maybe I'll pick them up and have them in for comparison. Alright, until then, I'll see you around. Take care.